Thank you for coming, Ian.
Yeah, thank you,
for
Ian.
having me.
Lovely to see you.
Lovely to see you.
Wonderful to see you.
Very, very funny guy. Ian Fidance. He's doing our pilot episode
Yes.
of The It Couple.
Yeah.
And he's got an amazing belt buckle that's like a Native American skull.
It's actually
Yeah.
beautiful.
It
and
is
your
beautiful.
ring,
Thank
it's a
you,
lot
yes.
of
I love
Native American
turquoise
inspired.
and Native American silver.
It's like if a sorcerer also worked at a pawn shop.
I love it. Yeah, which is funny because you look like I went to your sorcery school. Like you were my mentor.
I do have a hillbilly hobo gym vibe. But
Yeah.
our first question that we ask everybody, Ian, anything horrifying or scary or spooky
Ooh.
happened to you in the past month?
Yes, having to be your friend.
Well,
Walking into this apartment.
it is a bit of a labyrinth.
Cozy.
Dude, literally, I'm like, how do I get to this place? And you're like, it's the third tunnel on the right. And I'm like, why are you putting me in a tunnel when you made me watch a horror movie with tunnels? I was just expecting a clown and my biggest fear.
I also love that Sarah's like, whatever you do, let's just not tell him where we live. And then Ian just gave us the direct.
I just meant the town.
Oh, I
It's
mean,
fine.
we're in the Upper West Side in a
Yeah.
skyscraper.
Yeah, with all them tunnels.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I get scared that often.
You do get scared.
What?
You jump. You're a.
I'm a jump. Oh, I thought
you're a
you
jump
meant
scare
in
guy.
like a
no, it doesn't have to be
spiritual
supernatural.
sense.
I mean, it could be just somebody on
Supernatural.
the train. who
Oh,
Just
my
something
God.
scary.
Yeah,
that
well,
happened.
I'm very jittery, and if you sneak up on me, I will very much shriek.
Yeah.
I think I made some sort of noise recently that was alienating to people around me. Where I think I got.
Yeah, you were doing stand up.
You know what I love about this is you guys make me watch a 3-hour film, and it's like if I wanted to do homework and hang out with two queers, I would have gone to graduate school. Like it's insane what you made me do.
Are you or we'll get to the movie, but are you a Stephen King fan?
Sure, I don't know.
Afraid of clowns?
Well, when I was little, I was obsessed with clowns. There was a clown named Bingo that I used to have birthday parties with at the Ground Round, and then he did a
Yes, Bingo was the clown at the
Yes,
Ground Round with the
yes.
free popcorn.
yes,
And it was always like a high school kid that was stoned, my Ground Round.
No, this
You
was
had
a
real-
man
Oh,
with
no,
a
we had, like, a
Newport,
kid.
Delaware accent. And we have video of him making me hit like a hat with a fake hammer. And he's like, don't you know that Ian is strong? Ian, show him how strong you are.
Yeah.
And then I think he meant emotionally because I was going to have to deal with him molesting me and then dealing with it for the rest of my life.
Well, that's my other question: was the hot dog man your Pennywise?
Oh, my God.
Ian after his father unfortunately passed, he befriended a local hot dog man.
No, the hot
you
dog
did?
man befriended me. I
Wait,
wasn't really
hold
looking
on,
for
I
him.
have a question about Hot Dog Man. Was he in a van or a truck?
No, he was on he was a hot dog man for a minor league baseball team. And he used to carry me around on his hot dog box at the game. And be like,
How old were
hot
you?
dogs, boy!
How old were you?
13.
I was 8.
This is like such grooming.
22.
Like at such a young age.
Yeah, no. And I joke that I was molested by a hot dog man, but who's to say when you've blacked out memories for 4 years?
Yeah, when you've been molested by everybody in your
Yeah, yeah,
family.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just take a number, folks.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone who's molested Ian, it's like a DMV rows of guys. You're coming up 16, hot dog guy. All right, here we go.
Party clown with the DUI, 15.
Oh, no uncles. Oh, no, wait, we do have one uncle in the back.
Yep.
All right, well, let's get to it. The miniseries, we already introed the movie when you weren't here, but overall thoughts before we get into the plot of this, Ian.
Well, you can tell it's a miniseries because of the cuts.
The cuts,
when
yeah, for
you
sure.
can tell it's like commercial break, la la la. But I liked it. I feel like the most disappointing part for me was trying to figure out where in the film all of the children having sex was supposed to go. I couldn't. I think it
I'll
was
tell you
when they
exactly
were
I think it's
where it
the
is.
end
together.
after they kill
and that
them,
little
right?
girl Bevy, she was really
I'll
just
tell you
wanting
exactly
it.
because that's how me and Sarah, get
That's how we met.
It's right before the first time they confront Pennywise. They're in the sewer. The whole thing Stephen King was trying to do was he was like, oh, they have to lose the innocence of being a kid. So
In
they have
order to
have
get,
sex?
in order to fight Pennywise.
Like, it sounds like I'm making an excuse for it. Like, even as I'm
Yeah,
saying,
yeah.
so disturbing and disgusting.
Wait, in the above ground.
no, they
I
do in
thought
the tunnels.
in the tunnels.
I didn't see it
No,
that
it's-
way.
it's-
Well, they didn't. I mean,
in the
this is in the
book.
book. This
Right,
is-
right.
yeah, they took out that part for
Yeah.
both.
But they
versions.
just all gangbanged her, right? Like
Yeah.
they weren't doing.
But
No, they
then at the end, what's the kid with the inhaler's name?
Richie?
No,
No.
not Richie. It's
The kid with the inhaler,
Eddie.
He says that he's a virgin in the movie.
In the movie, though, because they couldn't
movie,
allude to the fact that at that age,
Or
they
maybe
were,
I forget that part. Maybe he couldn't get it up or something. I forget. I know. I think he was just a virgin. But the opening of this has the worst line in the whole miniseries. But the opening, it's a little girl. She's on her bicycle. She gets attacked by Pennywise in her backyard. Obviously dies. We don't see it. But then Mike O'Hanlon, who's the one guy who stayed around town, the one black guy, I guess, in Derry, Maine,
Who never left.
He keeps showing up to these crime scenes, which I'm like, during that time, because this was the 50s, like a black dude showing up to crime scenes, dude, you're taking your life in your hand.
Oh,
But,
no.
This is current
it's
day.
Current day.
Yeah,
he shows up current.
He shows up to the crime
Well, I
scenes
know, but I'm
current
talking
day.
about like in the book. That's how it was. But
Oh well, let's not talk about the book.
all right, I'm sorry. Okay,
Yeah, what are you
You're
doing?
right, you're right. I'm sorry.
Nerd.
Okay,
And also,
but the cop has
yeah.
the worst line. This is the worst line. He goes, "I'm the cop. You're the library."
He said, "You're the library."
you're the
He
librarian.
doesn't say
Yeah.
librarian. No, he says, "You're the library."
Nuh-uh.
Yeah, he says, "You're the library."
In this
kid.
film, it
Is
says
in this
that.
film, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't pick that up. It's funny. He shows up to all the crime scenes, and isn't that the number one like sign of a
killer.
serial
Of a
killer
serial killer.
move?
They
is they go to the
repeat.
crime
Yep,
scene?
they
Well, there's a famous video where this one guy killed this girl, and he's getting interviewed by the local news, and she goes, "Well, actually, they just found the body," and you just see him go, "Oh fuck!"
No.
Ryan
It's like the Crystalia Snapchat.
Oh yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah. Oh, dude, the Curb song plays.
right.
Oh wow.
All right, so we then flash to Hampstead, England, where this character, which is clearly Stephen King,
Yes.
but it's Bill and Audra, his wife. They're enjoying a nice dinner. He's adapting one of his books for a movie, and he has a flashback to the most famous scene in the book, in the movie, wherever. Which is his little brother, Georgie.
Right. He gives him the little
Loses a paper
thing.
paper boat,
Boat.
and it's taken by Pennywise. Which, interestingly enough, I was talking to Spaventa about this. The original idea for Pennywise in this was Harvey Fierstein.
No
Wait.
way.
He's like, "Oh, come in here, come in
Oh,
the
that's
sewer.
amazing.
Come on,
We all smoke down here.
we all float."
Yeah. Wait, so when Pennywise exposes his teeth, that's when he becomes real, right? And
Well,
does he like
he's an
chomp
energy.
them up?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
just an
So
energy
it's-
that like
So
scares
these
them.
so they're
He does chomp
finding
'em up.
mutilated children.
They're finding mutilated children, or they're not finding children at all.
right.
But like,
I don't think they ever find Georgie, do
Well,
they?
no, they do in the original movie. He eats
Yeah,
his
because we
arm.
see his
Oh, right.
casket.
He eats, yep.
But yeah, he's part of something called the Deadlights.
Yeah,
which
what is
like,
that?
Well, it's this supernatural, and that's actually what Pennywise is.
Oh, I thought
He's-
that's what Sarah called your eyes.
No, that's what he calls my pussy.
That's very close. So yeah, it's more of this almost like astral plane of evil that he's manifested from. But the whole first part of this the miniseries is we see where the kids are now, and we see flashbacks of them as kids. And then
Well,
the second part
I
is them trying
liked
to take down
that.
Pennywise.
I liked that because I remember being like, what is going on? And then once I caught on, I was like, oh, there's so many characters to catch up with.
I know.
Yeah.
You know, and I liked that. I like this so much better than the movie.
Then,
mean the
then
remake?
The remake.
than the remake.
With Bill
Yeah.
Skarsgård.
Yeah.
I actually
Yeah.
like the first part of the remake a little better.
I never. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I do a little bit.
This is more fun though, and I have to say it's because of Tim Curry. Because he's just a more likable Pennywise. I find.
Yeah, and they
more
didn't make him do the
enjoyable.
Harlem Shake. Remember that?
Yeah,
when he's
yeah.
like, hey! You're like, what?
I like he's the Pennywise the dancing clown, you know.
is.
But I'm not
yeah.
defending the new one. I'm trying to explore the old one. We have Ben, who's a New York City architect, played by John Ritter. Flashback to the bullies beating him up.
He was chubby as a kid.
He sees his dead dad, who's a war pilot, in the swamp, waving with the. I think that's probably the creepiest moment for me in the original was the war pilot with the balloon, like just the hint of something sinister, which is why I love Stephen King so much. He creates that ambiance of like impending doom better than anybody.
It was like me
Right.
walking into this apartment.
The tunnels.
Dude, I thought for me the scariest part was when Bev goes back to her house.
Oh, that
And
was-
the woman,
Reid.
yeah, and the first sign of it is she
Yes.
chugs the tea.
Yep.
And then you're like, and then her teeth and everything, and then when she leaves the house, doesn't even. That was so cool.
And
Yeah.
her dad is in the movie. Beverlys Dad, which they don't talk about in this movie, but Beverlys Dad is molesting her.
Yeah,
in
clearly.
the book, and clearly in the new one they explore
They
that.
show a
But-
little bit of that, yeah.
Yeah, but this one,
That's why Bev is so sexual throughout
Yeah.
the movie, and
That's why
she's
she
like
has sex
kissing
with all those
of them,
boys.
and then
Yeah.
like she was very like kissy with everyone, and then at the end I liked because that was Bill's the fat boy Bill.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah. Well,
that
no,
was
it's
his
Ben.
Ben.
She comes into the room, and then it's Pennywise, and then he has his moment, and he's like, "Who are you?" And then they bond, and then they're
Yeah.
together.
Mm-hmm.
And she was hot as an adult.
Annette
yeah, she
O'Toole?
was cute. Annette O'Toole, man.
Nana O'Toole's gorgeous.
Very classy. Very classy lady. But Ben is an architect. Annette O'Toole, or Beverly, is working at like some sort of fashion place.
Yeah,
right,
she has
with that
her own
jerk
label.
off boyfriend.
Jerk
Yes.
off who's beating her. Clearly,
Oh.
she's trying to recreate the relationship she
Yep.
had with her dad. We have Eddie, who runs like a limo service now,
But still lives with his mom in a
still lives with his
mansion.
mom. The weird
Yeah.
thing about the miniseries is the mom looks older in the flashbacks than
She
she
does,
does in
yeah.
present day. Like whoever,
And they
Did
didn't
the
have
makeup
Botox.
for the first part?
there was no continuity there.
Yeah.
No.
I thought he was it was his house and he was taking care of his mom
Yeah.
because he
I think that's
didn't
what it was.
live
Oh, maybe that is, yeah.
they lived together in Derry in a smaller house, but then he lives in Great Neck
And they're
in
Right.
this
they're all
mansion.
they're not sexual. They're all
Well.
more successful as they get older. That's another thing. The one thing is the kids get older, more successful, and then they forget everything that happens in Derry because something happens in Derry where you it's
When
so
you
traumatic
leave.
you forget.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
got hot
Well,
dog
except
guy
except-
written
Hot
all
dog.
over
Except
Derry.
Michael,
Except for Michael because he stays.
he
there.
never
He's the only
leaves.
one who
And he's
remembers.
a librarian.
Right.
He's
Well,
the
he
one-
just hangs out in town, so he's there.
Yeah.
He
He's
lives
at the
there.
library.
Lives in the
Buddy, what?
poor area. Remember?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
sad.
And he's
Right.
and weirdly enough, he seems like the most normal out of all of them too.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I guess
because I
him
think
and-
for how many ever years was that? Like 30 years? Pennywise nothing bad happened in Derry. So it was almost like.
no, it happened every 30. Yeah, well, yeah, you're right.
Right.
You're
So
Every
this
30
was the
years.
first time it happened since it happened when they were kids. So why would he leave? To him, he was like, all right, we killed that guy. And then when he comes
Maybe
back.
that's how shitty the rest of Maine is. It's like Derry's the nicest place you can go in fucking Maine. I've been to Maine. Maine is like fucking.
I've never been and I want to go
It's
so
like a
badly.
larger Connecticut, but with better parks. Also, we get Richie, who's like basically in every '80s comedy act on Johnny Carson.
Oh yeah.
He does the goofy Asian eyes.
He's the best.
so you.
He was my favorite. I loved him.
Of course he was.
Yeah.
I did have a moment where I was watching him do stand up, and I was like, "Look, I know this isn't good, but stand up was more fun in the '80s.
Oh yeah.
Just people
Yeah.
on blow and crazy suits."
I know.
The best suits, the backdrop
Yeah.
behind them.
And he doesn't even kill that hard. He kills okay. You know?
No,
It's
and
not
then,
even
like-
that funny. He's annoying.
Dude, the end is so fun when it shows him with the broken tennis racket. That's my favorite. He's like, wow, wow.
Man, I do miss like we all those things that we shit on. Quit diversion of comedy. Like when I started, when I started, everything we'd shit on is like prop comics and music comics,
Right.
and now I miss all those guys. I miss all the
because you guys got rid of them by making fun of them.
Like woke guys and edgelords.
No, they
now.
just went to TikTok and now they make millions of dollars, and you guys are still performing.
Well, I like being like in on the joke of saying like,
Yeah,
you know, like I love a dad joke or like a hacky joke. If I know and you know and we all know that we're all in on it.
Yeah,
you know?
street jokes are great.
And I feel like I
Gilbert
can.
Gottfried's whole act was street jokes.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, we do have a flashback where they're all together. The whole thing is flashbacks. I think another confusing one is out of nowhere, this Irish cop just comes and talks to them.
Oh, that was so weird. Yeah.
Oh yeah, when they're all
Like,
together,
hello,
he's
what are you
like,
doing down here?
if
You're
you're here, you
Another
stay
girl I'm
together.
missing. Yeah. I thought he was Pennywise originally. I'm like, they're going to be
Yeah.
tricked. It's an Irish cop, you know, but no, it was
Interesting.
Yeah.
I always
In
took you for
Derry?
someone smart. Anyway,
Oh, you got my wife, bro. I haven't got my wife zinger machine.
take my wife. Why not?
Why not?
I'm Richie.
But yeah, there's a bunch of. My wife is very smart. How dare you?
How dare you?
Basically, it's all flashbacks of them going through traumatic shit, like Mike O'Hanlon getting the firecrackers put in his pants, and Richie actually is just a dick the
Richie's
whole time.
the one that
The
attacks
comic.
them.
Yeah, he like throws the food on them, like he's like bullying the bullies. This
Yeah,
entire-
Richie's
We have
the
to-
only one with balls.
We have to take a minute to discuss the bullies, though, because Dan and I have realized that in every single Stephen King film, like flashback, the greasers are the bad guys.
Yeah.
And we think maybe he was attacked by them. Like there's
Yeah.
some
Oh yeah.
wanted to be one. Like maybe that's his alter ego.
Well,
but they're always
my take on it was, you know, we didn't know what we know today back then in terms of like trauma and this and that, and a lot of it stems from childhood. And it's like, man, I couldn't help but thinking like these bullies are so like this kid must just be getting gangbang molested at home
Well, he was
in
being
order
the shit
to
kicked out of him by
like
somebody.
have to attack other people and want to kill kids and
Right.
like this.
Henry Bowers,
I
everybody.
People
felt for this
hurt
kid
people,
because
Ian.
it was so clear he was
Yeah.
being like wildly abused.
Henry Bowers, they end up chasing them through the sewers where Henry is scared to death. Essentially, he doesn't die, but he goes into a coma, and his friend is like sucked through a pipe. So they're handled pretty early on. I mean, it is the climax of the first part.
I
but-
like how they all bonded together and threw rocks at them.
yes.
yeah.
That was fun.
But again, it's like this guy's like giving him wedgies, and they're throwing like rocks on
He
his head.
threatened to kill.
He threatened to kill
that's
them. He
true.
pulled a
Peggy,
knife. He
what is
fucking
his
was
name?
going to put
What's the
he was
chubby
using
kid's
the
name?
N-word. He was putting
Yeah.
cherry bombs in a kid's pants.
That's true. That's true.
You
guys are
know?
right.
Yeah, Dan.
Sorry. I'm sorry, guys.
Wow, Dan's a moron. You're stupid. You guys are peas in a pod.
Makes sense now,
Guy shows
doesn't
up
it?
45 minutes late to our fucking podcast. Turns into a Don Rickles roast. Insults her.
Also, one of the dogs is farting. I'm just going to
Really?
put that out there.
That used to be my favorite porn site, dogfart.com.
Oh, yeah? What
You
did they
ever hear
do?
of it?
They were just farted on by dogs?
Interracial.
Why did they call it dog fart?
I don't know.
Oh,
But
that
my
was
friends
the
found it and they
name
made
of
fun of
the-
me.
Got it.
Yeah, it was black guys, blonde girls. Also, blacksonblondes.com.
Okay.
Anyway,
Well,
The beginning of that, every single one of those porns is, girl, you in the wrong neighborhood. She's like, what are you talking about?
What do you mean? I live here now.
find my home, mister.
It's my house.
So, yeah, they end up going back into the sewers. They the whole thing is like if they believe they can kill Pennywise, they do. So Silver doesn't actually kill Pennywise, but because they believe Silver,
That's why he- yeah.
it hurts them.
but that's why they say you're not real, you're not real, you're not real. Like when he's digging the graves,
Yeah.
and he goes to visit Georgie's grave, and he's like, "You're not real. You're."
Yeah, and when
imagine
they're
it-
holding hands,
Yep.
and then the wolf comes up behind Richie.
Yes, and
yeah,
because I looked at when they watched I Was a Teenage Werewolf, that's kind of like Richie kept seeing the teeth like the werewolf teeth that also Pennywise had. And so that was the thing he was scared of, was like a werewolf. So like that's why when the paw comes up, he's like,
Yeah.
I really loved that movie scene. I thought that was the most innocent, fun part of the movie, of them like finally bonded. They're out at a matinee.
Well, they're out in public. They're not hiding in a swamp in a tunnel.
It was like Americans after 9/11.
Yeah.
We weren't hiding. We were out living our lives.
They were unified.
If you hide, then the clown wins.
Bono was out there with a fucking American flag coat, just intro in a Steelers game or whatever. This. So they all come. So they kill. They don't kill Pennywise. They render him scaryless, I guess. Like he disappears.
But what does it ever get explained why it's 30 years he goes away?
I don't know.
No,
It's
it's
like
just
27
every
or 37 years or something.
I think it was like every 30 years he comes back
Interesting.
to prey on the innocent lives, knowing that those kids have now
Of
grown
children,
up.
yes.
I mean, Iraq was like 30 years after Vietnam, right? Maybe that.
Oh, good God.
Oh, I just wanted to point out how Pennywise kind of went down to like a Mario sort of warp pipe.
Oh yeah.
Guys, that's right.
That's the problem. That's the only reason it can't get that scary, because he's still a clown.
Yeah, he was with the drooling and stuff in the It movie, the drooling.
Yeah.
I really like Tim Curry because he like would switch accents.
Yeah, he goes back and forth between like being old timey to like then being very theatrical.
Yeah. Yeah, and I liked how eventually you see that the blood and stuff can only be seen
By the kids.
yeah, like in the library and everything.
Yeah.
And the
You know.
daughter when she sees it in the sink, and then she has to say a spider.
Oh yeah, and the guy and the dad with the blood on the hands touches the
touching
stuff.
her, and then
Whoa.
you know she was molested.
Some good stuff.
That's such an 80s way of like saying like a child was molested, like
Yeah.
a gentle touch from an
It was
adult.
also very funny when you said getting molested, and Dan goes, "That's some good stuff." that was the perfect
we all think
timing.
Dan was molested as a child. That's another episode.
it's
Better
like
bet your bottom dollar.
a
it
Sixth
was.
Sense thing where I realize I'm the hot dog guy the whole time. But anyway, they all agree to come back to Derry, so that's when Mike calls everybody, except for Stanley, who's the one guy who doesn't agree. My wife pointed this out. He's the one guy who doesn't agree to come back 30 years later, and because of that, he kills himself.
'Cause he knows he
Interesting.
can't.
And
Yep.
also, he's the only one.
How's that for
wouldn't go-
stupid, Ian? You fucking asshole.
You fucking piece of shit.
You piece
Coming
of
here calling my
shit.
wife stupid in front of
Insulting
a
the
crew.
tunnels outside of my home.
Anyway, so we come back, like, Eddie goes back to the pharmacy where he was dealing with his Munchausen syndrome. You brought up Beverly going back to her old house. We see, like, there's a really weird moment, like, where, what's his name? Is Bill and Mike are just on a bicycle recreating Butch Cassidy in the Sundance
Oh my
Kid.
God.
Yeah.
What
And
is
and they
that
do
moment?
They do the thing where he uses his suit coat as a like underlay bull charger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With his little ponytail
Little
flapping
cape.
in the wind.
I hate that ponytail.
They come back. They basically, the first they're attacked by Henry Bowers, who's released from the mental institution by Pennywise.
And that was
As a
haunting
reminder.
because he was the only one affected by his own mind.
Yep.
Yeah, and he sees the moon that turns into Pennywise. So he
Killed them all.
so he stabs Mike when he comes back, and then they end up killing Henry Bowers. They don't. I don't think they called the cops for it. They were just like, "All right, he's dead."
Eye for an eye.
Who survives? Mike goes to jail for the rest of it. He survives.
Wait, who
Mike
goes to
doesn't-
jail? Mike
I'm
doesn't
sorry,
go to
hospital. Sorry, he goes to the
I
hospital.
was like,
I'm
wait
just
a
thinking of
minute.
institutions. Racist. Yeah.
Mike's like, I was stabbed.
I
Like,
was
shut
to
up.
put him in jail.
He's killing those kids.
Yeah.
Like, he's got like the knife sticking out of him.
Yeah.
Like, it's probably him.
Coke all over his face.
They go into the sewer with these stupid ass weapons. They have like a slingshot. And at this point, Pennywise has turned into this goofy ass spider. This is the worst part of it.
Yeah, that was very 80s
Yeah,
special
and it was
effects.
like he was like cross-eyed. That was the
Yeah.
thing that was the worst about it. Like, I can't fucking take anybody who's cross-eyed seriously, let alone like the devil.
Yeah.
Like if the devil appeared to you when you were cross-eyed, you'd be like, "Oh, well, this isn't the real devil." And then they literally tear him apart, like, which is kind of cool. They like tear at his heart. He does end up killing Eddie.
Oh, you know what I noticed? In the Chinese restaurant, the
Yeah.
woman that comes to the table is the same woman from Happy Gilmore that he talks to over the intercom, and she's like, "You don't want breakfast?" That's the same
Oh,
woman.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, the Chinese restaurant is like a favorite. Is like
Fun when they
it's-
open all the.
They have fun, and then like
Eyeball.
Pennywise turns the food into, which
fortune
honestly could have just been Chinese food. We don't know, depending on the place, depending on the star rating.
Like, oh my God, it's a haunted eye. Oh no, it's just one of their fish that they eat.
It's the cook's eye that came out. His
Yeah.
glass eye.
And at the very end of it, after they kill Pennywise, Bill is bicycling through the street with Audra on his like, which is like it seems like if you have a comatose woman to put him like on your
I
lap
think you
bicycling.
skipped that whole part though. That's important to know.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Audra. I thought I did a very good job at every
You
once in a
did.
while.
You did.
know,
I'll be
got,
taking
You got to
that
have an error.
That's why you guys work well.
Yeah, exactly. You know,
Yeah.
as our first episode.
Yeah.
But Audra comes to find.
She's kind of like Bill, and you're kind of like Audra because you're
in a
basically brain
coma.
dead.
She's now Ian's working overtime to be like, your wife's smart. Your wife's smart. Your wife's smart.
I want to be cast in things.
Yeah, what do we- yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot you're a cancer.
I haven't-
director. God, you're a gorgeous, smart lady.
You're going on that
Yeah.
higher list. I'm telling you.
You were about to go in for one of Sandusky's first victims. In this thing. By the
I
way,
was
that
going
shower
method
scene
for
is very
years.
Sandusky when Eddie is in the
and
shower.
the things come out. Yeah.
Which was going to come in and diddle. but-
Yeah.
Yeah. I noticed when the gym coach is like, if you sweat, you get wet. And that in grade school, our gym teachers always like, you all have to shower. You all have to and we hated it. So we would just run our hands through the sink and like change in the stall.
You didn't
But
want to shower?
No.
Did you shower in high school?
I did, but I didn't like it at all.
I was
Were you-
afraid of seeing the other boys and getting a hard on.
Wow. I get that.
I just didn't want him to see my tiny weenie. That's why I didn't want to do
Is
it.
that true?
Dan's Pennywise is just a chode.
It's just my own dick.
Yeah.
But the end of it is Audra. The end is really corny. It's Bill biking Audra around, and then she comes back to life.
Right.
Yeah, and if she's completely comatose, she's going to be flip flopping dead
Yeah,
weight.
she's gonna
she just
weekend
is, like,
at
sitting
Bernie's.
perfectly. You know.
Yeah, she's like the most beautiful version of comatose you can possibly
She's gorgeous,
Yeah,
actually.
really.
Olivia Hussey is gorgeous.
Yeah, like dude, if that was really, she would have had chapped lips. You
Yeah.
know, just like gross skin. You know.
be. Well, what do you think? This is we pose this to every person who comes on our pod.
Yes.
Ian. What do you think happens to the characters after this movie? I can already tell you that Richie is like promoting a cancel culture podcast. He's already like kind of the
he's
other
like
side.
art,
He's
right?
like Tim Allen at the Laugh Factory.
Oh
like,
my
Like we
God.
can't say anything anymore.
Oh man, imagining Richie as Tim Allen is amazing. I love that. He becomes a head writer on Gutfeld. I think Ben and Bevy get married.
Yep.
That's beautiful. I love that. They all reunite at that wedding.
Yeah.
They have Michael do the vows.
You think Ben? She would stay with Ben, or she's like, this guy's too nice.
No, she loves Ben.
she loves Ben. His January embers.
That's true.
Oh,
You
so
know?
sweet.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that was so nice.
That sounds like the name of like a strain of weed in a high-end pot shop.
January Embers sounds like
Sounds
the name of like a death metal band, or like a,
January Embers sounds
or
like
an
a stripper
emo-core
name.
band,
Emo core.
like a screamo band. We are January Embers. And then who else is still alive? Bevy and Ben.
The only one who dies is Eddie
Yeah,
and Georgie. Really,
No,
and the little
and,
girl.
And Henry.
Sal, or what's his name? Stan.
Stanley dies.
Stanley
yes.
kills
Stanley
himself.
dies.
Yes.
Sal also, he's not shown on the film, but he dies.
Who's Sal?
No, I don't know. I just
Oh.
you
I
just
was
brought
like,
up
wait,
Sal.
What character?
The Irish cop mentioned someone who died. Dead.
Yes.
Baventa?
Wasn't Bowers' friend named Belch?
Yeah.
I think
Which
he
I don't
died
think
too.
he dies. I don't think they bury him as Belch though. That would be hilarious.
How old were the greasers? Because they were all in the same class, and it was
They're all 28.
Oh yeah, they were definitely like held back.
They were like, and she even made mention of that. Like, somebody
Yeah.
on set was like, "Can you just throw
So
something in
wait,
there?"
Bev and Ben married. Bill and Audra. She comes back to life
They're
when he
fine.
goes to England. He's author. Michael will do the vows at their wedding,
Right.
And then who else is
They
still
get
alive?
married in the library.
Yeah.
They get married.
Well,
in
we
the
have
library.
Richie, right?
Oh, Richie,
Richie's
yes.
canceled.
And then who? And then. Eddie and Stan.
Eddie
are dead.
dies.
So
Yes,
then that's
Eddie-
all.
Eddie and
yeah.
Stan died. Yeah.
I always think when I enjoy a movie, like I want to see what they do afterwards.
Yes.
But it's always just in my mind them being like happy and living nice lives.
Yeah.
Until the next 30 years.
Oh,
When they come back, that's going to be the next thing. They're definitely going to do another.
I
It.
would
they make
love
another
it if
It?
they did it with Tim
Probably
Curry, as he is now.
oh God.
He had a stroke. It's okay.
Did he?
Still act.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's
wow.
not in there.
Oh,
He's
no.
not. He's in a rough shape.
Yeah, like remember when the skin gets melted off? So you do that, and then you have John Ritter's dead. Who else is dead? God rest in peace.
What if that was the reveal at the end? There was just like an old guy who had a stroke. It wasn't, and they were like, he was just
You were
desperately
just
trying to get
being
help.
So mean to
And they're
him.
just like, hit him with stones. And he's like, wait, stop, please. Like,
It's Bell's palsy. Statistically, it'll go away.
I feel like that happened a lot in medieval times. Like somebody who was schizophrenic, they'd be like, oh, he's a witch, burn him.
They still do that to him.
Yeah, they
yeah.
still do that.
certain
Yeah, no, they
states.
choke him on the subway.
Yeah, it's like the fucking F train
timely,
now.
timely.
Yeah, it's true. This is very sad.
Yep.
I think that's what would happen. I think we covered it all.
Yep. And I think there's
It was-
nobody else we care about, right?
It was enjoyable. I hadn't seen that from start to finish, and I liked it. And I will say, I started it at 3 a.m. last night.
Of course
Oh,
you
I
did.
knew that.
We knew
Like
you were going to start it.
6:30.
We're like, is that why he's late? Because he's
I
finishing
fucking
the
slept through
last.
my alarm.
You can't
and
sleep.
it was-
You can't go to bed early though.
I have
You're
such a
an
hard
insomniac.
time.
How many
Yeah.
hours of sleep do you get a night?
maybe 4.
Damn.
3 or 4.
Is that true?
But then I'll take
Every
a nap
night?
later. Yeah,
But now, when you go on vacation, if you ever take
He doesn't
time
go on
off,
vacation.
I don't go on vacation.
so you never shut down.
No,
How exhausting is that?
I'm living a nightmare.
Yeah.
I
'Cause
say
you're
this
basically
all the time.
sleeping while you're
will
awake.
say, I'm on the road so much, and like being in different time zones, like fucks my head. But
does, yeah.
when I get back, usually I'll take our early flight Sunday at
So you
like
could
6
sleep all
a.m.
day.
And then
Yeah.
I sleep all day. To
I think that's smart.
I go, and then I take one day a week sometimes if I can to just sleep 12
Crash.
hours.
Yeah.
You
And
out of
crash.
everyone I know can't take a night off.
No.
You have to be out at a show, even if you're not on the show. You just
Yeah,
want
I
to be
find
out
my way
hanging out.
on a stage. Yeah.
If
no,
you're
it's,
sick, do you still go
it's
out?
Well, he's been HIV positive for
Years.
yeah, I've learned to live with it. I've learned to make
There's
the best
medicine
of
So
it.
he
now
took a
that
little
helps.
time off when you had COVID.
Yeah, I had to.
Yeah, you had
I
to.
missed my JFL callback.
Yeah.
And some chick.
Now, were you auditioning for stand-up or to be one of the street clowns? One of the French street clowns?
Fuck, man. Anyway, so-
You know what I feel about French street clowns.
no,
always
but
feel-
dude, I didn't go because I was sick and I had COVID, and they're like, "Oh my god, thank you so much. We really appreciate you." Blah blah. And some girl did her thing
And had COVID?
was coughing, and then the next day was like, "Hey everyone, turns out I have COVID," and she got like blacklisted
Good.
from
She
so
should.
many people that were like, "This fucking."
No, fuck her though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
Sorry.
Yeah, it was just like shit timing, but fuck JFL. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Weirder, like I've tested myself for COVID a bunch of times, and I've had it twice. But the times where I don't have it, and I'm like, oh wait, no, so this is just me.
Yeah.
If you guys had to recast Pennywise,
Yes.
who would you pick?
You mean
Me.
in that series?
You would be pretty good.
Yeah.
I actually.
I would be a good I think I would be a good Joker or Penguin. I think.
I could see Joker.
Yeah. Like
I
a
could also see
maniacal.
maybe Joker's like henchman.
Yeah.
You know, I could see that.
Like the
You're not evil enough to be the Joker. But I
like
could
the
see,
Shmee to his
Yeah, I could
hook.
Shmee. You're a perfect Shmee.
Yeah.
You're a
Schmidt.
perfect
I love
Shmee.
that. Yeah.
You're not a hook either, or a Schmidt.
Me, I'm like the guy.
No,
who's
you're
like,
the-
she's in there. Like
You're
I'm
the
the
fat little black boy.
yeah. That's
just won't stop
exactly who I am.
eating.
In Hook, without a
Yeah.
doubt.
Who would you cast?
I think Andy Dick.
Whoa. Oh my god!
Don't even put a costume on him. Just let him
just
show
let
up
him
in
go.
whatever he's wearing on set.
Just put a ring cam in his apartment and just use that footage.
Imagine like one of those tourney box things, and Andy Dick's head pops up and
Oh my god!
starts going back and forth. I think he would be a really good Pennywise.
Trying to think. Idris Elba.
Idris Elba would be like so boring.
Stringer Bell. I know everyone would want to fuck him.
Vin Diesel would be the worst.
Oh my god!
He would be the worst Pennywise.
Oh, what Taylor
Spaventa?
Lautner?
Another person actually considered was Alice Cooper.
Oh, that's right.
Oh yeah.
Do you guys think Bill Skarsgård is good as Pennywise in the new one?
I think the
he's
makeup
really
is
good.
what
I think he's
makes him good.
yeah.
You know, I like him. I like the
also,
Skarsgårds a lot.
He is
Yeah.
that like we cast him in something for Stephen King, and it never really got off the ground and went anywhere, but he just sent in a self-tape, and it was so scary, and it was not for this, it was for something else where he just had to play like a mental patient.
Oh, I
and
love
he's
that.
so fucking good, and he's just sitting in a room in a chair, you know, doing his scenes, and he's just it's the point where when you're casting, you're just looking at him and you're like, well, how do we do any better than that? Like, how do you then? And luckily, you have producers who just say, okay, show us your best, and you show them maybe 3 people. He was
I don't think I've
amazing.
ever had that after audition. It's always like, we can do better than that.
Or this
We
guy?
can do this guy.
How did he get in here?
Did we CGI
oh, he's
the
Sarah's
role?
husband, I say. How did he sneak it?
I'm
see
the
that
only
last
person who's
name.
fucking a casting director who's gotten none
You
of the benefits.
can't even fuck your way to the middle.
Oh,
That's the
yeah.
problem.
I've really
True.
I've done nothing. My career's gotten worse since I've started fucking casting.
True.
Holy shit,
Wait,
you're
it's
right.
true.
It's
You
unbelievable.
were when we met. You were on lists. Directors were asking for
I was
you,
on a different
and then
type of
we
list.
got married. And it's like, here's my husband. They're like, oh, sure, he can tape.
Wow.
Like you are just trying.
What a revelation this podcast has become.
This is just the beginning of a divorce.
I was
yeah,
gonna say
this
is how we
podcast is going
split
to turn
up.
into a documentary.
I did have to turn down some auditions because I was writing, but I'm not doing that either. Guys, let's not talk about my scary life. Let's talk about
Ian,
Derry.
did you see Baby?
That is. Oh, I did see that
Yeah.
when I
The
walked
baby?
in.
Yeah, she doesn't. I don't think he likes it.
Well, we have to light
It
her
reminds
up.
him of all those Plan Bs he's
Oh, God.
forced women to take.
Yeah, wait. I think I've seen this before. Hold on.
No.
There you go.
Clap your hands and cut
Oh,
that
my
part out, guys.
goodness.
I'm not in the mood.
What a obscene. For
Wait,
Val-
this isn't an audition?
yeah, you won the part of flailing comedian. Are you doing the same bit? Are you doing the same like I'm pretending to be offended bit? All right, now
That's a
let's.
good bit.
Don't
Do
worry.
fall for it all the time.
I do-
Rule
no,
of 3. Yeah, put me over, Dan.
It's the
Come
best
on.
Dan
part
only-
because he really never wants to
I
hurt
definitely don't
anyone's
have the best
feelings.
heart, but
I
yeah.
think so, though.
No.
Are we staying
No,
together?
are you talking medically or emotionally?
Not medically.
Sean Donnelly used to do that to me, like because I made one joke about his dead dad, and
Oh,
he acted
God.
like it was like real, and I like was like really. I felt really bad, but he does.
You
that all
do,
the
though.
time.
You feel bad. You always feel bad. You
She
get.
has to say nice things about me to remind her why she's still with me. She's
Yeah.
like, he's nice.
No, you're the
Yeah.
best. I love you. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on now, guys.
And you
Help
don't
me.
have that bad of
Guys.
eczema.
You don't have eczema, and you're not responsible for 9/11. All right, Valameter, our mother.
Valameter.
Okay, just to give you an
What?
idea, Valameter. Well, my mother-in-law Val hates scary movies to the point of like we were about to see Us, and she pretended to have a heart attack.
In the car.
Yeah, so
Said she
What?
couldn't
Your
breathe.
mom?
No,
My
no,
mom.
my mother-in-law, and then so we just dropped her
Hence
at
the
an Irish
anxiety.
pub instead. And
Yeah,
she's
she just like
"Oh my
drank.
God."
We're like, do you want to go to like the hospital? She said,
That's
no.
just
Just
a
put me.
Wild.
Just some white wine.
Oh my God.
So in terms of that, we have
I would give her a 4 out of 10.
of this. Yeah, I think she did watch it when it aired in the 90s because she loves Tim Curry. You know, Rooster
Well,
and Annie.
it's very palatable. There's
It
not a
is.
lot of jump scares.
No.
You know?
no,
Yeah, you could tell kind of when the scaries were coming up.
yes.
Yeah.
Which I appreciate. I didn't take this for a horror film so much as I took it as, you know, like an elongated, interesting drama, I guess.
Yeah.
You know,
With a little
I don't
bit of
I don't like new horror
fright.
films where it's all just like jump scares and this and that.
Yeah.
But that's how the new one is, I think. I think
Is
the
it?
new one.
Maybe that's why I
It
don't
was
like.
more horror-y.
It's more horror.
Maybe that's why I don't like the new one as much.
Probably
I
not,
really
yeah.
liked this a lot.
Well, there's also something like when you watch something, because how old are you?
38.
I'm 39, and it's like when you watch something that's like, you know, like we were 6 or 7 when this came out, or 5 or
Oh,
whatever.
this is horrifying.
Yeah, you
I
know,
like
like-
couldn't take a shower.
But it brings those like memories of that time back.
Yeah.
Also, like Pennywise would never work in a city. Like in New York City, he would just be another guy on the J train
He
making
would
it
get
hard for
choked out,
everybody.
yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah,
That
totally.
word.
Yeah.
I know.
You know, but you have to have like a town where nothing happens to make a horror movie work.
Right. It's the scariest thing that ever happened. It's the only, like where I grew up, we had satanic murders, which
Well, they had
Oh,
pretend
Satanic Panic.
murders.
Yeah.
satanic panic. Yep.
Yep.
You
But
would have
it-
been a prime candidate for
Oh
that
my
if you were in high
God.
school during the 80s.
Oh yeah.
You would be the one they blamed something on.
Mm-hmm.
And
No,
you would be
I would be
innocent.
more of a Panic in Needle Park.
True. What, the Satanic Panic in Needle Park?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
go to
yeah.
witchcraft and you just nod
Yeah.
out. All right. Well, Ian, thank you so
Ian,
much for
thank
doing
you.
our
Thank
show.
you guys. This
Such
was
a
so fun. I
pleasure.
really enjoyed
Yeah,
it.
we're getting our
thank you
footing.
very much.
Thank you to our crew, our amazing
Yeah.
crew,
Spaventa
Chuck
and
and
Chucky,
Spaventa.
folks.
Chucky,
Yes.
and the
Chucky on-
dogs.
Chucky on the
and the
Chucky on the
babies.
cameras.
I'm so impressed with how well behaved the dogs are.
They're fantastic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they freak
They-
out when you first come.
I
in,
thought
but
it was
they're-
going to be a nightmare hearing the dog. I was like, how are they
No.
going to do this with the
Unless
dog?
there's
And
a
they're just
buzzer,
great.
they will go
Yeah.
nuts. But
yeah,
they're pretty
but then
cool.
if they buzz, you go, boy, oh boy, are my
This is-
dogs barking.
look,
Yeah, that's going to be her first shirt.
look at Goldie. She's passed out. She's so bored by this.
Aw.
This is
she
our
was
audience.
not scared by it. But
No.
Ian, what do you have to plug, good
Oh
sir?
yeah.
My podcast, Bein Ian with Jordan.
Jordan Jensen, right?
Yes. We're
Very
having
funny.
a blast. Patreon.com/BeinIanPod. New episodes every Wednesday, early episodes Friday, and bonus episodes Mondays. And I have a bunch of dates coming up. IanFidance.com to see if and when I'll be in your town. And iAnimal69 on Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch.
All right, folks. Until
Thank
next
you,
time.
Ian. I'll put you
Yes.
back on casting lists. I promise.
Oh, thank you so
redeemed
much.
yourself
Yeah.
with the
Thank you,
stupid
yes.
comment.
Yeah,
Girls.
she's auditioning a new role called Street Prostitute.
Oh, I'm in. I hope there's nudity.
Hey, there it
All
is.
right, folks. Keep
Full frontal.
stay spooky.
Yeah, stay spooked.
Ooh, I like it.
All
And
right.
the scariest part of that is imagining being that treadmill.
What do you know?
Because Dan's
fat?
under you?
Dan would have to be on
That
it.
was like you gotta like, just give a fat joke. You can't just do a subtle fat
Oh.
joke.
Yeah, no, the
pissed.
dog hated it. And is that dog wearing a diaper?
Yeah. Yeah.
Whoa.
We switch off. I
I
wear
was
it,
gonna
and
say
then,
you lend it.
and then he wears it.
Do you want a diaper? What do you think?
Yeah, wow. I was really nailing it this pod, and then I threw one out that just.
Well, you just gave
So
up
mean.
I
fucking-
gave up
So
halfway
mean.
You
through.
gave up on a. You can't give up on a fat joke.
halfway through.
What do you
oh
think?
my
Alright.
god.
Mushu hates the fat jokes, by the
Yeah,
way.
he
Those
does.
are reserved for him to say
Aw,
to Dan.
Mushu.
He's
All
the
right.
bully.
Until then, folks,
Cutie.
Bye, guys.
stay spooky.
Stay spooked.